This is Rockin' with J-Man. It's with Clay Melton. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Just hanging down here in Texas.
Hmm. So how's life treating you?
It's good, good. We're about to get on the road, which is, some of the most exciting part of doing this whole thing. So we're getting ready to get out there and play. We're excited.
So for those who are watching and not familiar with you, can you tell me all about yourself?
Sure, I'm a rock blues artist based in Houston, Texas. I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and grew up playing here in Texas and Houston, and grew up around a lot of blues musicians here in Texas, and a lot of great acts here in Houston that brought me up. I started playing real young. Starting at Crawfish Boils and open mics here in Houston, and now we're on our coming up on our fourth record and hitting the road all summer and staying busy.
So you are an up and comer, right? Just started?
Y- Yeah, we've been with this iteration of the band. Me and the drummer have been doing Clay Melton as a solo project for coming up on 8 years. And this has been my full time gig for a while, and now we're finally at a place to where we're full time.
I want you to remember this moment in your life. You and me talking right now, in a couple years, when you're a huge star, we can talk about this interview, man.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be talking about it at a great show, hopefully, right?
Yeah. So what got you into blues rock?
Man, I was riding along. I was 11. How old are you again? Are you
I am
11?
11. I am
You're
11.
11? Okay, I was 11 years old, and I was riding in my dad's truck, and he put on Jimi Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower, which I'd never heard before, and just that solo just blew my mind. Just the sound of the guitar, I was like, damn, I want to do that. And so that really like I didn't have a real guitar yet. I had kind of this Toys R Us electric guitar that had like a wonky spinker under the strings. It had like three strings missing and none of them were tuned, and I would just kind of pick along at it, along to like Hendrix recordings and whatnot. And then once I got a hold of a guitar, it kind of became what I was doing as soon as I got home from school every day.
Your new single, Alive on Wire, drops this month. Is that right?
Yep, dropping February 24th.
Are you excited?
We're excited, man. This is the first release that we've done in this kind of new working process. Our last album, Live in Texas, was a live album we recorded about this time last year, and so this is our first in studio release since then. And we've done it all here at my house here in Texas, and recorded all the drums, guitars, vocals, bass, all here. I don't know how much you can see behind me, but my living room is pretty much perpetually
Yeah.
a studio.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
then we sent it off to our buddy Sebastian Cure, who is originally from Colombia and moved back there in 2020, and so he's doing all our mixing. And it's been like a huge learning process, especially for me as far as recording drums, because there's so many more mics involved and the room and everything. As opposed to guitar, you can really stick any mic in front of a cab and it's gonna sound like a guitar. But this has been the first time for us from start to finish really recording it ourselves, and that's how the rest of the album's gonna happen. And so I'm very excited to share it with everybody.
Can you tell me all about the song?
Sure, it's a rocker. It's definitely more of our rock rock side than blues, and it's the topic is live on the wire, kind of being energized by the go 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 of touring, playing a show in a different place every day. It's a lot of the same things in different places, but it and every day around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock around showtime, you kind of start to get antsy and stuff like that. And so the songs is just about the energy of high energies at performance time, and then sitting back in a van almost quiet with your friends right into the next concert. And so it's about tour life and just having a good time.
What then is the plan for this release? A big party?
We are actually following it up with the release a couple weeks after our show Clay Melton and Friends is happening, which is this is our second annual Clay Melton and Friends, where we have some guest performers come up throughout the night during our set and join in, and by the end of the night we have a big jam going on. And the idea started out actually last year at the same venue, Do Si Do, where we recorded our live concert. Our live concert was just one show we pressed record. That was the take, as opposed from pulling from a lot of different live shows. And so this is kind of year two of that without the recording aspect. And so that'll be happening here in Houston at Do Si Do March 2nd.
Are you touring this year to promote the album?
Yes, we'll be going on Live on the Wire tour, same name as the single. That's starting up in April. We're doing the first kickoff is the Baton Rouge Blues Festival in Louisiana.
Man, I'm doing an interview. Sorry about that, man. Sorry.
It's all right. You can't help it. It's family, right? But yeah, so we're going on tour in April. We're doing mostly East Coast. We'll be in New York and New Jersey and Virginia, New Hampshire, and a lot of those northeastern states, and be continuing tours through probably the fall.
What do you think about ticket prices getting super high for a lot of bands?
I definitely think that it's not something that the bands are instigating. That's for sure. I think most bands want their fans to have access to their shows, and of course, there's been examples lately of it getting sticky for a lot of people. With these bigger tours not being able to provide the tickets to their fans and ticket sites crashing. But something that's encouraging is some venues I see on these tours we're coming up on. I don't want to put anybody's name out there for this, but I really respect that they match the fees that happen for online sales. So if somebody buys a ticket online, they reduce their price to absorb the ticketing fee themselves as the venue. So a fan is paying the same price whether they show up at the door day of or if they buy in advance, which is something that I think that's proactive that venues are doing to kind of help people get in the door.
Um, what's the best venue you've ever played?
Mm. I love festival stages are fun. We play the State Fair of Texas every year on their main stage. That's a lot of fun. But I love a good theater. Somewhere we're returning to this summer in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. And Theater is a beautiful old theater building like 19 or 1894, and it's got awesome acoustics. That's definitely a favorite.
What's on your rider?
We keep it pretty simple. We want to make everybody happy, but most of all, it's just a space for us, an actual space for us to get our minds right before real green room and sometimes a case of beer for the boys and something light to eat, and we're good to go. No green M&Ms yet.
Yeah. Do you have a ritual before you go on stage?
We usually are playing some music in the green room, trying to get ready. Usually some '70s classic rock or something like that is going. And I like to play a couple songs on my guitar by myself somewhere beforehand and just get through those first song nerves on my own rather than have it happen on stage.
Ever have a crazy interaction with a fan?
Sure.
Mhm.
All kinds. You meet all kinds of people on the road, right? I would say the most interesting is and I'll share a positive one is I forget where we were somewhere in Ohio, and we met somebody that offered to cook for us, which you don't always take up. You really have to make a snap judgment and follow the crews down, and it's fun. But it's great whenever you're able to get a home cooked meal on the road. So I'm all for that.
What is your favorite memory from playing a show?
Hmm. There was a there was a moment when we were playing the state fair last year, and we opened for Night Ranger, and we were playing our third set right before they went on, and I just remember looking out and the sun's going down. The State Fair of Texas signs there. It's a huge giant cartwheel, and I just looked over. The band was both locked in, looking at each other, and looking out over everything, and just a good memory from the last year, especially coming off of COVID, not having played. It was like, all right, we're back doing this thing.
What is your worst?
Well, I remember one time we were playing at an ice house. I grew up and played a lot of dive bars, like most musicians do, and This was an ice house, and I was playing a solo. And I decided to do the. I was probably 15 or 16. I decided to do the Steve Ray Vaughan kind of flip the guitar behind your back type thing in a spin move. And I spun. I got the guitar behind my back, clipped the strap back on, but I hadn't brought a belt that day, and my pants just fell down to my knees.
Oh,
And so, I mean, I could have stopped, but I didn't stop, and we just finished the song and finished the solo, and just had to laugh it off. But I haven't forgotten a belt since then.
it's like a ghost bullied you basically, like you're in high school. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like a nightmare moment that could have been, but it ended up being pretty funny.
What's next for you?
Hopefully a lot of touring, and we're actually a lot of touring already, but what we want to do is keep out on the road and see as many people as possible this year, and we'll be putting out an album towards the end of the year, and that's going to be our next kind of a statement as far as what we're doing sonically.
How do my followers follow you?
At Clay Melton Music on social media and claymelton.com for tickets and information.
And they can get your music there, right?
Yep, all our music, our merch, and our tour dates are all on the website.
Wait, you guys got some cool merch?
We got some merch up. We got some new merch coming out that will be supporting the release, and yeah, it's all up on our online store.
You know you gotta hook up your boy with some fresh gear, man.
All right, then shoot me your sizes.
Yeah. Fun question time. You're on death row and it's time for your final meal. What's on the menu?
Have to eat gumbo one more time.
Gumbo.
Yeah, that's my go-to meal. Birthdays, I'm looking for gumbo.
So it's death row and time is over. How are you going out?
I get to choose.
Mm-hmm. Like
Oh,
any of the executions.
okay. Oh man, I'd probably quick. I mean, there's nothing more metal than a guillotine, right?
Oh my god, it's kind of like what's it called? Why can't I think of it? You know that one guy that always cuts his head off during like the show? It'll be
I don't know, like Kenny dying on South Park or something.
yeah. If you could choose any superpower, what would you choose?
It's a tough one between flying. Flying's an obvious, but maybe to pack all my gear up with like the wave of my hand.
Also, like telekinesis?
Oh, yeah, I guess that'd be like telekinesis. Yeah, yeah. I'd even settle for just it moving my gear somehow, but telekinesis would be probably a better pick.
Okay, let's say you can choose any song ever written by any band, and you can change that song where you were the one who wrote it and it was your song. What song would it be and why?
Oh man, yeah. There's so many songs that you come across like, dang, that's a great song. I wish I wrote something like that. I was talking about this the other day. Like, Voodoo Child is such an epic riff by Hendrix because you know what it is before he's even playing notes. He's doing that scratching on the wall. It's and just like you know it right away. And then when the notes come in, it's real epic. I'd have to go with Voodoo Child.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
You got me, man. I haven't been paying attention.
Hey man, I don't either. Just asking. Why don't rock bands get to play halftime shows?
Why don't they, or why do they?
Why don't they?
I don't know. The electric guitar has been having a hard time in the popularity as far as top of the pops go. But I don't know. I mean, you had I think the last rock band that did it was the Chili Peppers, and then the Stones did it before them. But we've had a hip hop was the last year's, right? They had Missy Elliott and a lot of acts come out. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm sure it has something to do with ratings. I'd sure like to see a rock band. I like to see the Foo Fighters do the Super Bowl.
Oh my god, that would be so crazy.
Right? I mean, they're already playing arenas.
Well, thank you for being on my show. The next time we talk is when you're super famous, and man, we'll talk about this interview. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And you have a nice night.
Hey, you too, bud.
Yeah,
Nice to
peace,
meet you, man.
man.
Peace.